Anyways, Mundo top. I used to play a lot of this top lane. I don't play it much anymore. I don't think it's that good anymore. But this guy is like platinum, so it's totally manageable. It's totally manageable. First, let's talk about why I don't think Mundo's very good. He is actually getting, if I'm not mistaken, he's getting a buff. And I believe it's his, unless it was reverted, I believe his E is going to be upped a little bit, which is good. Because he's not very strong right now. And I'll talk a little bit about why he isn't strong. A lot of the top laners that Mundo faces kind of does his job better. And for those who don't really understand how league balance works, I can put it very simple for you. Some champs, like, that in League of Legends, a tier list is, like, super relevant. Because most of the time, this game, like, after a certain point, because this dude's in platinum to my knowledge, so like he's starting to get to the point, when you get to platinum, you start to get to the point where your picks matter a bit more and they determine how high your win rates are going to be. I'm not saying that Mundo's like ass tier or anything. I'm just saying that he's not as strong as like a Gnar or a Gangplank or a, you know, Aurelia or shit like that. So it's important to keep that in mind. Now, we can make Mundo work, and we can sure as hell. I used to play a lot of Mundo. Mundo's still pretty decent for a lot of reasons, but he's just kind of outclassed in the tank department at the moment. So it you know, at around platinum, it starts to matter a little bit more what champs you decide to take into the top lane. In the case of Mundo, the beauty of this champion is that at the very least, we can farm with our cleavers, which is super fucking juicy. We should have no problems handling that. In regards to how you're playing the lane, I don't mind it right now. You're gonna get bullied in this matchup a fuck ton, and we're gonna see when, if ever, we can find a window here. Because Mundo's on the low end. You're doing great right now, though. I like how you're playing the lane patiently. I got no qualms here. Olaf's coming up top. You should definitely ping him off because that dude clearly warded. Like, dude, what do you think he's doing when he paths like that? You know what I mean? Look at how he's pathing right on the wall. Like, you know what he's doing. You know he's warding there. So this guy, just ping him off and save him time. Just tell him, you know, ping and type W or something. You know what I mean? I can definitely turn down game volume. Actually, I noticed that in some of the videos too. So you could have saved the jungler about like 10 seconds there. We could have. Doing pretty well in the farm department, in my opinion. Doing as best you can. Nothing much we can do yet. But you can definitely start looking. Like, if you land a cleaver, don't be afraid to, like, when you have minions, don't be afraid to poke back at them a little bit. Because you might be able to find a weak spot here. But only if, like, there, I would be tempted to walk and try to dodge his Q and fuck with him. Because your sustain, like, is a little bit higher than his with the start that you went. So, when you finally do get a window like this, where you can poke back, I really want you doing it. And burning his jump and trying to fuck with him a little bit. Yes, Olaf. This is, okay. We get his flash. The wave's gonna push, so you might as well shove it here. I don't know where your W is. Why aren't you using it? There we go. We definitely want to be... Use our cleaver there for that. Or even our E, so you don't miss the wave, the siege creep next time. Jam the wave here. You have minions and you need to get out. So go in there with your W and just push him around. Push him under turret. You won't die here. There's no way you die in that many minions. So you might as well get in there and just W and jam and get out. Because we don't want to stay here right now. This is kind of the weakest point for Mundo, in my opinion. Obviously, you get the free farm with Q or whatever, but like, this is the point of which we're our weakest, when we don't have our ult and we don't have items. So we need to get this in as fast as possible so that we can back and get to top lane as fast as possible. So you are so slow to push and you don't walk up and harass. So you already would have been under turret by now if we had pushed right away. And I think that it feels like you don't want to back, and you really do. You would really like to be the guy that has the initiative on like teleporting and getting back in the lane over Gnar, who's going to harass you all day if you don't. So there, see the wave stuck in a weird spot. Now you're afraid to move up. This is why when you had the window back here, we needed to push. Because now he's just going to poke us every time we get close. And we don't want to really deal with that anymore. See what I mean? Now he's pushing to you, and we could have very easily gotten out of lane. So this was kind of a mistake in terms of like lane management, and it was a decent flash. I think you might have been in trouble if you didn't. So and you had to burn your flash because of it. So lane management's very important, and I want to go back over with you because this is a platinum game. So I want to go over the point where you received a gank and what you should have been thinking. So let's go back to this here. You land a cleaver. You kind of tell on yourself a little bit, but then you hit the you hit the cleaver and you went back and farmed, which I'm not sure.
Subscribe.
Thanks, Hi Mono, for the 11 months.
Welcome.
Not sure why we went back instead of keeping the cleaver, but either way, you're fine here. This is all fine. You get his flash, and that's great, right? You do a good job of putting the pressure on, but right here, you need to recognize the situation that you're in. No matter what you do now, your top lane is going to push. So, considering that I'm Mundo, I have like 800 gold, and I could probably get 1,000 before backing here. I'm thinking that I need to shove this in and get like a giant's belt or something here, or whatever you want to build, and get out as fast as possible. So next time you're in this situation, you really want to get out and get back. Because if you're stuck in a long lane as Mundo, you're not going to be able to farm, and not only are you not going to be able to farm, but then you're going to set yourself up for ganks, and then you're going to get pushed into your turret eventually, and you're never going to be able to back. And Gnar's just going to poke at you for like it's going to feel like decades. Let's put it that way. So we were very late to push here. And you should have seen this. Now, right here is another one. This is like, it's not the end of the world.
Subscribe.
Thanks, Minos Magnus.
Welcome to the Nisi self-trade.
So, like here, you can do it again. You can jam the wave again, but you don't. And it's really costly because then you get caught in that funky spot. And you don't go all the way into the turret, you don't play it confidently, and now the wave's pushing back to you, you blow flash, and now you're sitting on a turret. And even though Gnar doesn't push all the way in like a monkey, which he could have, you're still back, you know, he's still backing before you, which I don't really like because he kind of gets lane control this way. And then good, he teleports bottom, you push. This is all good, by the way, what you did here. You needed to ult in advance here. Because, you tanked too. I know you're trying to get the turret in because you saw him go bottom. But you need to get this wave in. I mean, you could theoretically back now, but you shouldn't have died, I don't think. Oh, he has Ignite. Maybe he should have died. Fuck. Either way, he should have ulted. It's kind of an unlucky gank timing. But yeah, you should have already had your ult going when you got that low. There's no point of standing up there with it. You know, your ult's on a relatively low cooldown. What is the cooldown? It's like, yeah, it's like 100 seconds. It's not that bad at all, early level. So you might as well just drop it once you tank the 2. That teleport was pointless, in my opinion. I'm all about greedy teleports because I do them a fuck ton, but that one was pointless. I'll show you why. So you teleport, the wave's already pushing to you, and you would really like to keep the teleport if you had a choice. So the wave's like slow pushing to you, and your minions are like right here. So if left to your own devices, basically the minions will look at how he's pushing. Look at the window. He pushed, and you didn't zone him off or anything. Look at how this is gonna match out. You see that? So teleporting is pretty pointless because you're only gonna get like 1 minion off of it. In reality, this wave was gonna come to you and it was gonna slow push to you, and you weren't gonna miss that much, and we would have been right here in time. So we don't technically miss anything. So I don't really see a point in teleporting there for like 2 minions of XP, basically. And that's pretty much what it amounts to, 2 or 3 minions of XP, because the wave would have came to you anyhow, right? It's kind of taken a while on this replay, so let's speed it up a little bit here. Now this matchup, you should definitely be fucking with him more. When he takes that much damage, don't be afraid to step into it there and try to harass, especially when he's coming out of Mega Gnar form. Don't be afraid to look for it. Right here is when I would start fucking with him. Because he's taken a lot of poke from you. So what you're looking for right there, dude. Like, why aren't we fucking with him here? Walk up and trade here. The reason why is because I feel like we win 1v1. If he eats cleavers like this, we need to step in and try to get him to blow jump and then maybe look for an all-in when he jumps over. Because he's going to jump minions. He's going to go to this pocket here. And we might be able to just ult and all-in him. Or get his flash, you know what I mean? And we're Mundo, so we definitely want to look for it. Especially when bot lane's doing bot lane things, right? And they just lost the skirmish down there. So now Gnar moves out. I definitely feel like in this replay, you're not looking to win lane, which I don't like. I think that you can. I think you can beat this guy. I think in Platinum, when I play tanks, when I play shit like Mundo, I'm pretty much always looking for an opportunity to kill somebody. When they eat cleavers anyways. You can't go in unless you hit a cleaver though. So like here on this trade, if you need to get him to burn a ward, do so. So like, watch again. Sit there. Just sit there. Let him come to you. Let him close that space. You tell on yourself too fast here. This matchup is range poke. So we don't really want a situation where we miss our slow and then we get raped all the way back to our tower, right? So in situations like these, when you hit the brush, try to, you can move back, but try to get him to face check or put a ward down and then throw your cleaver. If you hit your cleaver, you have level lead, you could definitely battle him here. Like, I'm about 100% we could fight him here. But it's a matter of whether or not you hit your cleaver, and it's a matter of whether or not you understand that when you hit your cleaver, you can go in. Okay? So it's very important things to take into consideration.
Donation.
Dude, thank you so much, Mino Magnus. Thank you. $50. Thanks, man. Appreciate you, brother. That's crazy. But yeah, let him face check. And then if you land the cleaver, you can go ham. Now you miss it, so you gotta get you back. You gotta get your fucking Arnold ass back into the fucking brush. Because when Mundo sits in the bush, you can't see him, dude. It makes total sense. But in all seriousness, don't fucking come out. Sit in your bush. So now, see what happens? That is all because of the bush incident. I call this the Great Bush Incident of 1141, which is your timestamp in your Mundo vs. Gnar game. The Great Bush Incident, which kind of chunked you out of lane. We can't really get chunked out if we want to win. You're about to get dove because of it too. I'm wondering if we should have ulted sooner, just to keep our. I mean, I know this is like hindsight hero, and we know that we're getting dove now, but even still, when you got poked down that low, I'm wondering if we should just ult to preserve our HP as opposed to ulting later. Because we're not going to be doing any, we're not going to be all-inning him anymore, right? When the Great Bush Incident of 11 whatever happened, right? We pretty much ended our all-in career. So we probably should have just ulted to use it as like a sustain mechanism. But now what's going to happen, I don't know what we're flashing for yet. I think we could have played that a little differently. If we had walked into turret here and then got him to chase, flash, and then dodge his ult, we might have been able to sneak out. But I think the flash early was kind of bad. Kind of shitty. So yeah, I think the ult to sustain would have probably helped us a lot. Remember, you're all in versus range poke matchups as Mundo. Your all in is gone when you get poked down. You're not going to all-in him anymore, especially when he's full HP. So you might as well just ult, put it on cooldown so you have it if you wait for another time to ult later in the lane phase, or just in general because you're going to deny these ganks. Okay.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Put some pretty good damage on the turret. Now, at this point, the reason this doesn't go your way is because Gnar has finished Black Cleaver. And he also had minions pushing to us, which doesn't really allow us any wiggle room to like whittle him down. So he basically force engages on you with Mega Gnar, which you don't really want to give him. And after that point, once he engages on you with Mega Gnar, we're pretty much gonna lose unless we dodge like every skill shot known to man. But even still, he has minions, so the trade is just not gonna happen. Unfortunately. And like I said, this is kind of where Mundo sort of flops is in this matchup. If we don't have the initiative, we're pretty fucked. So yeah, he's gonna engage on you, and there's just no. Yeah, I mean, it's close. It's not that. It's actually not that bad. It's just not close enough. Because if we had backed up and healed up a little bit, we'd be able to turn it probably. But either way, you know, because we didn't play the lane phase too great in terms of like our back timings and stuff, we kind of opened ourselves up to this position. And then the great bush incident. The great bush flop, dude. But it almost feels like... What was that? He's gonna... I guess this is platinum after all. Where were you even teleporting to that he thought he needed to do that versus Mundo? Nice. Yeah, jam mid now. And damage the turret, and you do just that. Good job. And... That was weird. Why did it switch camera like that? That was so weird. You don't have ult, so you can't really be too excited about moving. So in the future, when you're in this situation, Mundo really only operates off his ult cooldown, so if you don't have it, don't look to skirmish. Because you're going to be pretty useless. Your ult is what allows you to just go in like an idiot. So here you back away from the wave, and you kind of run into a problem here. And you even trade instead of just walking away. You like you go into melee range again, and he's gonna kill you. 9 times out of 10, he's gonna be able to kill you. Thankfully he doesn't, and thankfully you sneak out by the skin of your teeth. But yeah, I don't like how we were wiggling around there. Either way, you baited Leona into some silly shit. Did Zillion have ult there? No, he didn't. Cool. Yeah, I mean, it works out, and it, you know, whatever, but I wouldn't feel too good about walking around without my ult like that. We're also really lucky that he ulted bad.
Red team's turret has been destroyed. Blue team has slain the dragon.
So, not entirely sure why we're going Spectres. Cowl when, Veigar's never gonna damage us in a team fight. In my opinion. Veigar's never gonna touch us in a team fight. So, I don't really know. Unless you're going Spirit Visage, I don't really know why we're... I guess you probably are going Spirit Visage. I guess it's fine. I'd be more inclined to do something like Dead Man's, to be honest, but that's just me, because you're facing a Caitlyn and a Gnar. Or even like a Randuin's. Let's talk about this situation. I don't know how we got here, or why we're here. They win Dragon, and you just kind of start going down, like you just start going down river for some reason, and I don't know what you think you're gonna do, but I don't see any rational reason why we think we're gonna do something crazy here, and why we think it's okay to walk all the way down. It's very rarely gonna do much for us. Like, you'd be better off just staying in lane and pushing first, instead of just roaming. Because, like, roaming Mundo without flash, I just don't see much going on, so you might as well just stay in lane there. It's too unreliable of a move, I think. Alright, let's skip ahead. I imagine... I kind of already know how this game's gonna go based on the start, because Mundo kind of... He doesn't need to snowball, but he can't be behind, I feel like. You know, like, he can't really do much from behind. If you know what I mean. Giggity. Ah! Ooh. I'm considering wondering why you didn't hard engage here. You make a nice little play where you get Shyvana's ult, and you could definitely zone off Caitlyn or threaten to kill her with the items that you have, even though, you know, you're not fed or anything. You could definitely just ult on Caitlyn and zone her out of the fight completely while your team does whatever your team's doing, right? We don't really see the green light here, but I do. So, like, you're running away, but I'm thinking I'm a tank, and I just got Shyvana to blow ult under turret, and I see Gnar top, and I see Veigar over here, and even if I didn't see Veigar over here, I still want this fight, because, like, Zed just wasted a lot of their time, and burned a lot of things, like Caitlyn has no ult. I'm Mundo, I have ult. I work out. I got my fucking T-Pain, or, you know, my fucking Pimp Cup, whatever the hell this shit is. So, let's ult and go on this Caitlyn here, and put the heat on. Let's not path around like this. This would have been a lot smoother, I think, if we just went in right away. I mean, it's probably, knowing how this game's been going, it might work out anyways. But yeah, no, we didn't get much value out of our ult, did we? That's what it is. I love this Olaf. Ult's early for no reason. Fucking baboons, dude. Yeah. We just kind of fight in a funnel here. Yeah, I don't know. After the way that this starts, the game's pretty much downhill. So, without caring too much about the results, I'm more concerned about the lane phase. And so far, what I saw is that you weren't very confident in a range matchup, which I can understand why. It's a pain in the ass. But you do win it. You do win it if you land cleavers, and so if Gnar steps over minions and you land cleavers, if you can wiggle in, you can get the 1v1. The other thing that I would really clean up if you're going to do... Well, first off, I'm going to tell you, until Mundo's little buff comes through with the E, I'd probably stay away from Mundo in top lane in general. You're platinum, so I'm going to be a little bit... I'm going to go a little different direction with just, like, play what you like. I mean, you can play Mundo, but it doesn't seem, based on your gameplay, that, like, your standout with him... No offense, like, it's not meant to piss you off or anything, what I'm saying. It's just, there's better picks, and you don't strike me as the type of player that really gets where Mundo's at in a lane, because the way that you need to play it is you need to be, when you land cleavers, you need to be unafraid to challenge with your ult, and the times when you were low, you weren't ulting to, like, sustain. Like I said, you could stay with it, and he will be getting a buff soon, so he might actually be pretty strong right now. Well, after the buff goes through, but in his current state, he's weakish. As far as and I saw in your replay, and I know, again, I'm only doing this because you're higher elo, I see that your build that you go is kind of silly. You go Xerot Portal and Thornmail when you'd probably want to get, like, Randuin's, and then, you know, maybe Deadman's or something, or, you know, you could go Randuin's then Thornmail, but I hate the Xerot at the very least. Like, more health before we're going Thornmail, because all Thornmail is more armor, and Mundo, you know, Mundo benefits a lot from health primarily. So, if we're gonna go Thornmail, at least let's not go to resist heavy items, because then we're not getting much out of Mundo's passive. Overall, I don't think you played the lane, like, horrendously. It's not that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that in general, I feel like we weren't... Our ability to handle these types of lanes seems a little much right now. And in order to handle Mundo in these types of matchups, we need to really understand, like, all right, if I land a cleaver here, I need to go in, step in for the trade, try to dodge Gnar's Q, and then get that momentum going with, like, a couple cleavers, and then find our all-in spot. Also, you know, the little shit that we covered in the replay, like when, you know, a guy puts a ward down right in your face, it's good form to ping your jungler off of a gank before he wastes like an extra 10, 12 seconds. Not saying this Olaf's good, he's dog shit, but even still, let's try to do that. And you know, when we are in a team fight and we have like a Caitlyn step in front of us and our Zed like baits a giant ult, don't be afraid to ult and engage that Caitlyn who's standing to the side. That was pretty important, and I think that we weren't being we weren't aware of just how good we do when our ult's on and we have like Spirit Visage and Sunfire and Tabi like Caitlyn's done so. All right, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for donating everything, YouTube. I love all you guys. Thank you very much. I'm out. Peace, cracks.